high school, like, I still do that. All the politics, the red tape, all the time. And your weird role, or, you know. Yeah, and yeah, we have such years. Probably like, before. If things like. It's probably. I feel like, you know, even this is group calling, I know we've got the meeting at that house tomorrow at 2:00, that's a lot. Yeah, we're still on, I've added one more house to the roster, that's okay to do that.
You're on video. Yeah. That's kind of cool.
I worked for, I still do that part-time. When I worked for the company, I worked at headquarters. And so I just put on the phone and I did some of the executive meetings for the staff.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of people, primarily about the. That's where.
Everyone, you know how to swear.
What? Yeah.
The most important part.
That's where I've been trying to stand on the phone.
Yeah, it's balance, right?
Try to bail it 2-3 rounds. But, yeah. And.
If you run a small business, efficiency has never been more important. So for a limited time, Comcast Business is introducing small business savings. All now to get powerful internet for just $39 a month for 12 months. With no annual contract and a money back guarantee. All on the largest, fastest, reliable network for small businesses. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
And 321 requires legal and other things. Restrictions apply. New business 50 megabits per second counts within a home. Moving taxes and other charges after and subject to change. After promo, regulations apply. Works take us to summers away. Or winter adventures. And afternoon getaways. Your dedicated Fidelity advisor will help you open those doors by working with you on a comprehensive plan to help you reach your wealth's full potential. Because doors are meant to be open. Visit fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services LLC member NYSE SIPC.
So I will give the business. All right. Yeah. No. Now it's. Valid point. Yeah, that's not happening. So no one did, no. So I don't know. All right, I gotta be sure. I just will talk next week. Yeah, we run the miles.
Huh?
Right.
What is-
Trying to run it. No, I've known about it for a few days.
Where the hell did he go?
He went to the green light and actually was also still like the sun.
That wasn't a good move.
He had his reasons, you know, he never, hopefully he'll come back.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping. So keeping on really, right, because we get people back all the time. So I am just talking about them. telling you what I'm doing, this is in my boat right now, starting from scratch, right?
Right.
Well, some of us got real lucky, was, with interest rates and sphere. And now we start from scratch.
Right.
Where would you rather start from scratch with here? Right?
No shit.
Yeah,
No shit. That's,
accountability.
Now you do it today, but I.
Yeah. Business.
Yeah, it popped up like, when I was trying to find you, for some reason that's. And
They're all in here.
you know, it's just,
Put that on my list.
so I just noticed that on
Yeah.
your, this up for some reason, maybe just because I use Facebook, chat function a lot. But it's like, Google will just pop up, surprisingly pops up. First thing was this is Facebook. It's popped up. So,
Probably why I'm not getting laid. That's
huh?
why I'm not getting laid.
Yeah.
Problem solved. Story of my life with technology. Too old for this.
Amen. We should be thinking about,
You wouldn't, my open house on Sunday that I went for a listing.
yeah,
Hysterical.
busy.
Yeah, but there was no parking, because it's right off the Whitford Avenue, so I was a parking attendant.
You turned into
So
a,
hard to capture leads, because I'm like, son. You got it.
can't park there.
And I'm like, son. You're trying to capture leads.
Works out really well.
Yeah, it was hysterical.
Thank you. What do they call them? Berries. Big legs. They were over in the big refrigerator, where we eat berries and vegetables. They were right on the edge of that. So, but inside, right? Or no? I'm yes, right, we just walked in, that was the neighbor. Contact one here. I'll ask her later. Yeah. My boy is. Not like why. They're the worst. They just. My 3 year.
I need some coffee, because I'm sure. Yeah, it's gonna be too sharp for me if I don't. I'm not gonna keep.
You're gonna wanna stay awake for this.
Yeah, I still knew kind of.
You guys were starting a little bit late just because we're agents and we're always late.
So I grab it and make sure that it's only the person. There's something ordered. And so what I was like, giving me her number. And to text me when it's there. Yeah, so.
You guys do run in with any questions in Zoom land?
Thank you.
I'll give you my phone number and you can maybe text it in because they got this set up so you can't do it. So you're prepared for that. You have a pen. 651-303-1750. And I'll just kind of glance down every once in a while. Maybe if you in your, the first word, if you just put ignite, something like that, so I knew that you just. I get a lot of spam.
Keeps my engagement and keeps my raising number now. We're paying for them knocking on doors and doors. Few months. Well, we're limited inventory. Getting this trip to give them to sign in. You have to say sellers, maybe sign in. Let me know if you need or not. You know, just read what that is. So she knows to sign. You know.
They got their mortgage. Right.
I was working. Yeah, and I didn't capture what they showed me my open house. So I have an open house registration. That was from Sunday. Because it was so busy. But. Then turn on this. I have. But it was more than showing houses. 2 weeks ago. We'll talk about it.
Hi, you guys.
Good, how are you?
My name's Kevin. I like walks in the park and on the beach. Well, as customary, everybody's late, which is good. It's their loss. I'm only fun for the beginning and then I'm a jerk for the rest of the day. If we could, just take a minute, they want us to first reflect on our past, experiences, Ignite, if there's any ahas or anything like that anybody wants to share. And also, if we could just kind of pair up, and Doug, and I'll be your partner.
Okay. Yay.
Never mind, now you got that. Now you're off. But, so we're, gonna just kind of talk about open houses today, of course, and if you could just kind of pair up just for 3 minutes and just give an idea of what you might like to gather, what kind of struggles you might have, what kind of hurdles you might have, what you might know that nobody else does, and which is might be there. So that's how they started their class. Don't forget to sign in. And we're trying to get out. And you guys in Never Never Land, you guys just talk to yourselves.
Yeah.
We have captured number one. Number two, what I found. In you, I follow up.
Doug, you get lucky, you get the partner with Lisa, maybe you have to move up here.
It's doing another program with a mailer and or.
It's not gonna come up good, I guess.
So what is the big question that you were asking us? What is?
Yeah, when we're doing open houses, what questions you might have that surround open houses that
To follow up.
you'd like to get answered, that you have questions on.
I am literally.
You,
Because that's one of those.
And they were really good. They were like really bad. But now I'm hearing more and more. You're starting to get more skills. I experience as well, when a lot of people are getting very well. Because usually they reach out to a really already on the.
Yeah.
They get. They become the internet or the agent, and then we'll be open charter.
Yeah.
is that people are?
When I was first doing open, they would give out these.
It'll be my daddy's dying and he wants to do that ad for 6 weeks.
I see.
I'm curious what you have to say about how you would get releases.
When you do open houses, do you ever have that signage?
Wow. It's so aggressive.
Wow.
But then.
Well, I just had a sign thing. I don't know. This one requested that all people are comfortable in house signage.
Right.
Alvin tried.
Did people fight?
Yes. Or did a lot of people break out. But the big question is what is sign. It was the first shot. That was really nice.
Oh, well, maybe so.
All right, I'm gonna bring you back in.
Yeah, but I can't wait to see that person.
Yeah, that's what they. Yeah, but it's.
We get it to 5,000.
So you're switching up how you.
Morning.
Pull out the conversation.
Well, after about 30% of others. That's what we're talking about. You have to make it. Oh, yeah. But yeah, also we did for our champion for most part, we're gonna. So.
Or they already represent.
Well, I mean, we have the one technically unrepresented that we had in. You've been working the. And. Not very good to me, he actually said, when so, somebody better come along. I. Like, I'll take that.
You done?
Yes, yeah.
You know, that's fine. Doug ran so fast to the back, like he was just like.
He was like, "You gotta have to."
So we talked a little bit about what might have challenges, what might have some issues, some questions or concerns that open up. One of our greatest lead generating sources, this should be pretty interesting, I would imagine. Today, well, right now, if you had a couple of things, you guys can chat in the back here pretty much, either you got some great recipes or you got some great ideas. What did you guys come up with? Do you have any questions?
We were just more going over our struggles of open houses.
Okay, let's hear what some of those are.
Well, like, you know how to put a good event together and what people would like to be fun, but then it gets discouraging when you put all this effort into it and then like people show up and they don't even like want to talk to you. Or they're like, yeah, thanks for the cookies. This is great. Wow. Whatever it is, you know.
Okay, anything else?
No, I think that, I mean, I struggle with sign in.
Okay. Every group just said, oh, she's doing it. How about you guys? Ms. Cross, you got anything? Any questions? I heard you were talking initially before. Margaret here. Yeah, it's from the January. What do you have on there? It's normal. It's a zero.
I had open houses for 3 years straight. Now, a single person came through Canada and weeks ago. Did I market it right? Should I have? Was neighbors?
Yes, yes.
All the above.
Anything?
Same thing, you know, just actually getting people to sign in has always been a struggle. I mean, even if they do sign in, you don't know if they're going to be accurate. And I've had it where I'm like, oh, this was a great open house. And these 2 people have specific questions that I'm gonna get answered. I'm gonna reach back out to them. I have touch points, it's gonna be great. And I reach out and I never respond. Crickets, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
That was a great point.
I just sent you like a full 1-page report on all the information that you were asking for,
Yeah.
and you're gone. Cool.
Yeah, I gave you all the information, all in one sitting. How about you guys back here? Do you have any other challenges of these or?
All of the above, lead capture is difficult in terms of registration, follow-up, people ghosting you, but I'll add to that, what I've struggled with, let's say they ghost me, and I do put them in my database. I'm not necessarily marking command the way I should be to continue to follow up with them. So it's a little bit of a, for continuing drip campaign, right? Just because they ghosted me doesn't mean I can't put them on a drip and I'm lacking that. Or that continued follow-up. I might follow up for 2 months. But then, right, so that follow-up is a real challenge.
And then they.
Cause I take it, I take it a little personal. It's like, well, I sent an email and I sent you another thing and, well, no, they just don't need you yet. And they don't know how much they need you.
Right.
Okay, how about you guys? Interesting, anything different?
No, mine's about the same, because I feel like I can get them to engage and sign in and stuff, and I can even get them to be like, yeah, I'll probably use you. But like, I have 2 of them from open houses that I've had for 4 months, and I just keep contacting and keep going, yeah, eventually, they're not really sure of it.
Yeah.
Actually, turn them over, you know?
It's okay, so that's, I mean. I think everybody struggles in the same capacity and every weekend is different as well. Doug was kind of on a stint there, 3 days in a row, and then that's rough. Our plan today, our agenda is to capture the leads. And we're gonna kind of go through how that, what that's gonna look like. On different opportunities, and we'll share ideas, of course, because that's what we do. And Scott, since you're just sitting there looking pretty. Let me read that.
Nothing else about your business will have as big an impact on it as having the number of leads you have.
Okay.
As the number of leads you have.
But why do you suppose they start the open house class with something like that?
Because without leads, it doesn't matter.
What's our objective at the open house? And
But if you say that.
Capture leads.
what is that, what are we trying to do at this open house? Capture leads. Capture leads. And we're sitting in somebody's house that we're trying to sell.
Yeah.
And we're trying to sell a house and we're trying to capture leads. The thing that everybody just kind of did exactly what we shouldn't do. We're trying to get leads. We're trying to get leads. We're not trying to sell the house. I'm gonna put on a play for you guys. It's $1 a piece. There's no popcorn. I'm gonna show you. This is kind of improv. This is Kevin Sutton getting ready for an open house. Okay, alarm goes off. I have an open house in 2 hours. I gotta get to the office and I gotta print up some stuff because I haven't done anything yet. So I'm gonna go to the office and I get my stuff printed up and I run in. I'm typing up and I get my property and I. She's print, I run over, I go to the printer, and use the printer. I didn't hit print. Damn, I gotta get. Great, okay, I go over, I grab, I get my stuff and I get it all ready to go and. Bring it back to my desk and I'm like, okay. I have no open signs. Or open house signs, and I know that there's some open house signs here at the office. Is there any, can I get a folder or something to get in? Do you have them somewhere? Okay, got it. All right, got it. Thank you. I have like 30 minutes till this open house starts now, so I gotta run around. I'm running. I load up the car, I get everything in the car, I go out and I'm like, all right, I got like 5 minutes now. Before this open house, okay, and I'll just put a sign here and a sign here, I'll leave the other ones there, just signs up, that should be good, right? Yeah, it should be, right? So I pull up to the house and there's somebody sitting out in front of the house and they're walking in with me. Great, this is awesome. All right, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna open up the house and I'll let you guys see the house, and if you do me a favor when you're walking through, you can turn some lights on for me. That'd be awesome. You downstairs, they're gonna do the same thing. So they go up and they're turning on that, they asked me the question, hey, we're just about done turning on the lights for you. How many square foot in this house? I have no idea. Let me plug in my computer and look, at least just get this stuff that I printed up and I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna see. This happens a lot. Not to me, but it happened to be a lot where I just was not prepared for open house. So the preparedness is so key. Because our objective there is to sell the house, to represent the house, because if we're running around like a jackass, me. Trying to get all this stuff together, they're looking at me like. This guy doesn't have his shit together at all. He's, I mean, it's just like, and I can represent you, and I can help you guys out when you're selling a house. They're like, okay, yeah, thanks. That'd be awesome. We'll talk to you later. You bet I got your card. I need kindling. So one of the, I mean, it's true that our objective is to get the leads. Our objective is to sell the house. But if we're not prepared for it and we can't look intelligent to the client, you just wasted your day. And Doug, I'm gonna ask you 3 days. What did you do to prepare for, I'm just putting you on the spot. You're a new guy, nothing, on the wrong answer, just the right ones. Not enough. Who has a perfect setup for when they are getting ready for it?
Better setup.
There's always a way, because we don't know who's coming into the property. We don't know what questions they're gonna ask. We don't know what their wants and needs are. We don't know if they're represented or not. So it's up to us in that, 7-minute window to answer those questions. These are some of so this is the limiting beliefs that we have at everything. We have to dispel our limiting beliefs. So keeping in mind what we just talked about, let's talk about this a little bit. Everybody has had all of these struggles. I know that you have, and if you say you haven't, I'll laugh at you. I don't have a listing to hold. One of the most beautiful things about the Keller Williams program is that within our brokerage, we can make a phone call to anybody at any time to ask them, what if it's feasible for us to hold their open house. We, as if you look at, you go to the market center, you go into your MLS. You go to the office code of 9705. Then you can see everything that's coming soon and everything that's on the market, right? Is everybody familiar with that? So our market center code is 9705. We can hold anybody in a Keller Williams Premier Realty. We can talk to them and ask them if we could hold their property. You know, the market has not been great for open houses as of, you know, the last 2 years because they were going off the market before they could even have a chance to go on. But there are properties that are on it, there are coming soon, that are coming on a Saturday, and the listing agent just doesn't have time to do it. Make the phone call and talk. So, yeah, I see, I got, someone that I don't know, she might be online here, but she asked me, Marjorie, no, it's not Marjorie. Somebody just asked me, hey, can I do your open house in Hudson?
Oh, yeah, that house is amazing. Yes.
Madeline Brandon? Madeline Brandon, anybody? Bueller? So she, hey, I saw your house came on, could I do an open? It's as easy as that. I like to do it on the phone because you get an answer, you know, and if you I never say why I'm calling, I'll just say, hey, why don't you give me a call about your listing? And they're thinking, oh, you got a buyer. No, I just want to do an open house. You know, you gotta try it. You gotta pull people in. So, but it's true. So, I don't have signs yet. Everybody got signs? You got team signs? You got your signs, Scott? Did you, give them up with the Travis Anderson group?
Yeah, I do not have any open house.
Okay. And they,
And say, if you don't have time, it's super easy to check them out at the end. They've got nice metal signs over in the office walk down.
Okay. I'll do that. You get their cut.
Yeah, so we put the agent store website and I was able to get like 20 arrow signs and they want them. And it was only one.
Oh, which side?
I was they reached out to me when I was first licensed, like agent or something like that.
They're like the 24x18 corrugated, stick in the ground with the.
Yeah, I have a wire metal, we're just.
With the H panel required.
I have my name on, I have my name for my signs.
So you can borrow anybody's sign, honestly. Well, their name is out on the street. It's not great to have your name. It'd be great to have Jackie Groppolo come over here, you know. My name's Payman. I'm right down the block. But when they walk into the house, they're gonna be talking to the individual. I don't know a lot of, you know, I'll have people that call me on my signs are you guys. Will call me, hey, I saw you doing open house, was it busy? But you can very easily check out the signs, exactly like he said. Don't forget to sign in, you guys, the sign in's here. So, yeah, that is something that we can certainly, and you can always, you know, borrow my signs, or there's all of the generic signs, and there's a $80 for 20 corrugated signs, just don't forget to pick them up. Signage, just on a side note, I don't know if it's covered in here or not, but in Woodbury and in certain municipalities, you can't leave them out overnight, they'll disappear. And then you're gonna go and pick them up at the city. And it's a pain in the ass to do it, but it happens quite a bit, especially in like Woodbury. It happened to me in Bay Park, actually, where
They got nothing to do with it.
yeah, they got nothing else to do. That's right. But yeah, so then you gotta go over by the park over there, I forget the name of it, where they hold the movie night. What's the name of that park? Which one? Yeah, Ojibwe Park, guys. I don't know. Spaghetti, but you gotta go there and then you gotta pick them up, and it's amazing. I found a whole bunch of my signs there when I went there the last time. I was like, oh, well, look at that. And one of them was run over by a car. I don't have the answers to the questions the visitors have is another big one. And then open houses don't really work because people will look online and see, and then the other very legitimate is I don't feel safe. So walking through those last three. The preparedness for an open house. If you can find the property that you want to do an open house on a Tuesday or Wednesday. It should be one of those things that after your lead generation. You're trying to see, you know, say Monday and Tuesday, you're doing your lead generation in the morning, you have to prepare for your week. You know, we have nice offices here, we have all these computers, we have all these printers, you have offices at your house. You have to use them. And you have to, and when I say getting prepared for it, and I might be jumping ahead, I like to get as much information as I can. This is an old one. That I did, but preparing for that, so that when those people do walk in to the property and they ask you how many square foot it is, you can say it's 4,106 square foot. And you know, there's an office and 4 bedrooms and 5 baths and a wet bar downstairs and such. It's kind of like sat in on the 72 sold meetings at all. In the initial meetings, the one thing that I pulled out of there, and I hope Greg hates on this, because that's the only thing I pulled out there, is that getting prepared for that opportunity showing. And we kind of touched on it just a little bit yesterday, but that opportunity showing where you know what's going on at the property and you can walk people around and name at least 3 things, the perkins. I know, it doesn't even make sense. He uses it all the time.
He doesn't have much for it.
It's, I don't, it's the wrong context. It just is, isn't it? It's not peripherals, it's 3 cool things about the house to look at and point out. So it's all about your preparedness. And we'll continue to go through that, and it's gonna start to answer some of the lack of participation and the follow-up that's gonna help with that as well. Open houses don't work because people look online. Does anybody run into that struggle? Does anybody feel like that's a real legitimate?
Yep.
You're saying no, Nick?
I said false.
Okay, go on.
I think it piques interest to go and see those places. And I think that a lot of times, I mean, think about all the times people look at the house and then they walk into it and they go, oh, this is fun.
You're right. I think Marjorie's right. I think, yeah, I mean, it can really fall on that individual that's looking online. Another takeaway from that 72 sold program. Maybe I should charge some $1,500 to everybody here, like the 72 sold. I'll give all their secrets.
The secrets again.
Yeah, it is.
Sutton secrets, 7
Secret.
There you go.
If you guys are wondering why you're hungry right now, it's because I wore a picnic tablecloth today. Sorry about that. Should hand out like corn on the cob or something, but it's important for me to say, since we're talking about open houses, it's important to know that before engaging in an in-person activity, consult with your jurisdiction rules regarding the COVID precautions. Contact your local realty for their best practices. There, now you know that. COVID's over. Switching. There you go. Going the wrong way. All right, so let's walk through some of the common things. Okay, so who benefits from the open house? This is kind of self-explanatory. The buyers, the sellers, the neighbors, and you, the agent. The neighbors, why do you suppose they're bringing up the neighbors?
Then they can bring over their friends or whoever they want, and they can look at the house too.
Yeah,
A lot of neighbors, when they want to sell their house at some point, they use open houses to shop for an agent. They want to see what you're gonna do to market their property.
Well, I think also you wanna, like, as a neighbor, like, you wanna see the value of their home, so when you go to buy, you know that you're gonna be living in.
yeah. And then you also have the nosy neighbor who just, God, I've always wondered what that house looks like. You also have the remodeling neighbor who is trying to figure out what kind of backsplash they want on their property and such as well. The sellers certainly benefit because their home is getting explosions. They get exposure on there, and the buyers, of course, you know, the buyers are able to see the property. The one thing that I don't see, and I think that I see it, but I think that it should be on top, is it's the agent. I mean, the agent gets, I mean, this is a prime opportunity to shine. Has anybody here ever had, you know, we can always talk about the open house that was just crickets. Doug had 3 days in a row, just nothing. How about the ones that were just crazy? Who's had a really crazy open house? Doug? That's good. I'm glad you offset the odds. Define crazy.
Like 30 people.
That's awesome.
Really crazy, but that was really when I was kind of beginning, so I was pretty bad at doing captions.
So that was
I feel
the,
like I kind of wasted that opportunity now that I'm looking back on it.
information through a fire hose kind of thing. You just got the baptism by fire. And then if you had
Yep.
crazy.
I've had ones where I don't even get a chance to even say hello because there's so many people walking through you.
And you can't do nothing. And when that happened, I mean, what can you do? You hang out with one?
Yep, you got it.
All of that.
You got the fish, and hopefully it's not the fish that's talking about something completely different, and it happens.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
This is what I do. As soon as they enter, I ask, you work with the agent. As the people say yes, I put them in the second place.
Put him on the back burner. Back burner a little bit.
Okay, you go ahead.
So we're gonna go back to this dispelling limiting beliefs here, this. I know.
Can you make the slide bigger? We got a presentation about it.
Yeah, go to.
Shut up. You're lucky this board's on right. I'd be drawing pictures.
You know how to do that?
No.
You know the answer to that, my reaction?
Yeah.
For my probation officer.
Young agent.
Yeah, please, no, I think.
Do I?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's my Napoleon Dynamite.
We all want to help our seniors.
Get my water and fill my cup.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the other real question here is, I don't feel safe. Safe in an open house, safety is of course very, very, very important for anybody. I don't care if you're built like a brick shit house or skinny like me or beautiful woman. It's not always safe. It's not always as bad as you think it is, but things that you do, what do you guys do to kind of cover your bases on what's going on?
I park my car at the end of the driveway facing the road, so if anything happens, I can hop in that car and get on.
Mhm. That's good.
I also have my birthday carry,
Yep.
because after that realtor a few years back, I got shot in the forge for that. Wasn't taking any chances.
Right.
Never have to use it, I'd rather have it and not need it, but we did not have it.
Amen. One of the key things that you want to do when you're holding an open house is make sure that people know where you are. Make sure that your family does, and make sure that the neighbors know that there's an open house going on. You hope that the neighbors thing is more important than you would think. It's, you know, just knocking on doors and saying, hey, I'm gonna be holding an open house. It's your chance to pick your neighbor. I also just want to let you know that if it's slow there, if you see anything odd, please feel free to stop by and make sure that everything's okay. Sounds ridiculous, but the one thing that we do as a human being is if somebody says help, we help. If somebody says I need something, our inclination is to do something. The permit to carry is good. Not everybody believes in that. I believe in myself and stun guns and all kinds of stuff.
I'll tell you what I've run into.
Mhm.
If you feel unsafe, I've had that happen, where it was an empty open house and I didn't feel right. We always go with our gut. I quickly said, I'm so glad you're here. Sellers will be back any minute to answer questions. They forgot something. And I just thought of it like that, but I was afraid of this. I
That's
saw the car kind of circle. Cars should circle properties, right? That seems normal, but something didn't feel right. And it wasn't a marginal neighborhood, but I'm used to that, right? I'm in most neighborhoods all the time, but something didn't go right. And right away, it just came to me and I'm like, and they're like, okay, they walked around and left.
Because they knew
But
that there's
let them
a,
know, right? Neighbors got the buyer. You can, sellers will be right back. You can, answer any questions.
Always go with your gut. I love that.
Oh, go with your gut.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually had a neighbor, another point to, no, a good point with, talking with neighbors ahead of time. I had a neighbor whose backyard faced the backyard of the house that I was doing the open house at. And he took my flyer, which had my phone number on it. And at the end of the open house, he called and was like, hey, how did everything go? Everything good. Like he actually checked in on me, which was really cool. So, yeah, super sweet guy. Him and his wife were absolutely phenomenal. They were those neighbors that, since the house was vacant for a little bit, their hose was like, well, there was water going over there. That's like keep it green. Yeah,
good people.
so, yeah, I mean, it's amazing who you run into.
And we could talk about those horror stories all the time about things that freak you out, but I mean, it's more important, I think, to look at what you can do to manage that concern. And again, talking to the neighbors, sometimes you might be on a long 1 acre driveway or something like that. Nobody says you can't bring somebody with you. You can bring, I'm sure you brought
I
Scott.
bring Scott quite a bit.
Yeah.
Or have him mostly. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Because,
I bring Helen all the time and I'm like, hey, take her, and I run.
Yeah.
You just got to. It's gotta be faster than the slow person. So you- right.
Every once in a while, I'll bring my field, they use a truck driver, people usually don't have it. Good.
Just stand there.
It's like the scary dog. Privilege.
It's scary, dog.
He's a teddy bear, but you wouldn't know looking at him.
So. Tell someone else, what page is this on in the book? That's
74.
Let's just say 15 here.
Yeah, you're good, you're going in the right direction.
This is the right direction.
Yep.
All right, this is a great place to be. All right, so. The open house for new agents. And old agents, but especially for new agents, yes, I'm right at you. Super inexpensive. And a very good way to capture these. I am going to boast that probably my most successful tool in real estate is open houses. And it's not because of my knowledge or anything like that, it's because people just come to you and you have to be willing to engage and talk with them. You don't have to talk about the house. You just talk about them, talk about, whatever's going on. God, that's a really nice car you pulled up. Can I have it? I got more cars in my driving. But it's a very inexpensive tool to hold an open house. But again, we'll go right back to where we started on this, is if you're not prepared for that open house and you look like an idiot, and people are just like, wow, this is okay, thanks for opening the door. You were useless. And then they leave. And they go to another open house and they sign a buyer's rep with somebody else because they knew what was going on in the neighborhood or on the block or what have you. The prospecting tool, high ROI, the return on investment, of course, the return being the monetary amount that you are spending to have the open house. I mean, sometimes you can buy cookies and water and things like that and make it, I didn't do that.
You touch it with your hand.
So, how come nobody else had to do this except we should have practiced last
Don't touch the screen.
But so the return is, again, you could buy cookies, you could have, just do something super simple to attract people, announce it though. When you're putting your information in the MLS, what's one of the questions that they ask you? And, okay, yes, I'm gonna have an open house. It's gonna be Sunday, May 3rd. At the bottom of it says you're gonna have refreshments or anything like that, because it posts it for you and they open it up and say, oh, they're gonna have cookies and tea. And mimosas and Bloody Marys and super busy. But, so, I mean, you have the opportunity to suggest that, or, you know, to offer that. And then last, it's qualified leads. Qualified leads, why do you suppose they call them qualified leads?
That's not working with that.
Hopefully, they're not working with an agent. But what are they doing? I mean, they're taking time out of their day to do what? They're wandering, I mean, there are some people who just like to go and look at houses, but there's also people that, you know, will come in and look at their license plate. Sometimes, you know, you're in Minnesota and Wisconsin plate pulls up, usually it's vice versa, but here in Wisconsin, it's Minnesota plate.
What do you do if someone with whiskey plates shows up?
Hey, dude, got any beer? That's good. Yeah, he's coming for the Bloody Mary, that's right. You'll never leave, you got a breathalyzer in your steering wheel, I'll never get rid of you. They need houses, do, they do. Did you see my whiskey plates, is that what you said?
Yeah.
So, all right, let's talk, okay, we're kind of hitting a lot of different stuff, so I think it's the ahas, because I saw that, and so did you. So, is there anything that we're talking about that is like relevant to your daily, you know, your struggle? Do you understand what's going on with the open house? A little bit, I'm asking the question completely wrong. Do you have any ahas? Just do that. No, I think that it's, you know, when we look at a room full of both very familiar agents with these and brand new agents, everybody has the same issue. Everybody has these same little struggles that they go through. And I like on our wall there, the sign in and such, and when do you announce agency? When do you try to make sure that's another thing that you have to remember is that, again, SPAR has initiated the secret client approach where they're going out to make sure that you're doing your open houses in accordance with the regulations, which is having a copy of your agency relationship out where they can see it. The agency relationship in a transaction so that you're able to, you know, what I usually do when I have my book all set is the agency relationship. I will say, I highlight the buyers on here. If I'm not listing the house, I'll highlight the buyers. If I am listing the house, I'll highlight both the sellers and the facilitator on there so that they can see what my objective is and who I'm working for. And I just point at it. It's sitting right next to my sign-in book. This one I have a few of these, but this I got at SPAR. And it's got your little welcome, please sign in sheet, 10th card. That you put up, super easy. Say that before I did. So I have this sitting here. I have my sign-in book open. I always make sure I have a couple of names showing, and then I'll turn the page, say, look, other people are doing it. Other people are signing in. Yes, you're gonna get the sign-ins from, you know, Dr. Spot who came and.
Kevin, I went to I just checked the other people from other agency, open houses, I go to them, see what they do. But one of the things I did, they had a tablet there for signing, it was very cool.
Yeah.
The information.
Yep, absolutely.
If
You
you
can,
want a open house sign-in sheet, you can go to list report.com, and then you can they have like a template that you can use,
Oh,
where it like fills it all out.
did everybody hear that?
Oh, right.
Did you say that again?
On list reports, if you want to have your tablet open and you have your listing there, you can they have open house sign-in sheets where they just like collect all their information and it goes to your CRM.
It has to be listed on.
Yeah, I mean, if you have your list reports already connected to your command too, that's helpful. Otherwise, I believe command also has them too.
Command is supposed to have one. I have not found it. Has anybody found the command?
We don't have a tablet, so.
Oh, okay.
You do though.
Yeah.
You just borrow yours, yeah.
Yeah, you can just borrow mine. Take mine. I don't use it.
Check out.
You want to use my Sudoku toy? So just another question, and we'll go into another breakout here as well, but all houses shouldn't be held open. What reasons would you have for not holding an open house? True, owners don't want to. What other reasons are there that maybe you just don't want to hold an open house?
We already have fires and stuff for it, that you want to fire.
You can hog it, you mean? They keep everybody else
I
on?
was thinking more for the buyers, helping them out, feel like you already have one in your pocket, it's like, they like the house, you know, give them what.
Right,
It's not illegal, is it?
not illegal, no. They- But it's not illegal. I don't know. There's not a lot of reasons why not to. I mean, mainly the reasons that you don't want to hold it is because the house is a mess and the people are not willing to declutter. They won't agree to the open house. And of course, our last was the pandemic that really stopped things. From the open house perspective, we had our legs cut off. Now we're getting all this back. Now we're starting to get a busy market. There's a lot more listings coming on, as everybody can kind of see. Hopefully you're putting them on yourself, but talk to your clients and push them to do the open house. I mean, my conversation is always that our objective, as my objective as being your agent and your fiduciary, is to get as much as I possibly can for this house. People are looking online. 87% of the people are shopping online. It's actually 93% right now are shopping online before they're going in. They may or may not have an agent. If I'm gonna hog this deal, I'll probably reduce my commission for you in order to make this better and you get more money. So here's the idea. So get the people in here. Let's get as much money as we possibly can for the house. I might not be on both sides, but if we can get multiple offers, we can boost up the price. Now, we have the concerns, of course, of is it going to appraise and all that kind of stuff. That market has been in the past, but it's really showing signs of happening again this year. It's I have multiple offers on anything that I'm doing right now. There's multiple offers on. Is everybody seeing the same thing?
Yes.
And that's a ball. That's really fun when you got the buyers out there. But those are the only times that you really don't have the upper hand on an open house. If they just don't want to do it, or the house is just a mess, we've all listed the cat pee house or that kind of stuff. Those are the best. Those are- You want a cheap buzz, go to a cat pee house. Anyway, all right, so where am I? Where's that little clicker thing? I walk around too much. There it is. Look at that. All right, so we didn't have any real ahas on there, but now let's start talking about best practices. The best practices in an open house, is the first thing that we talked about is the preparedness of that open house. Does anybody have any examples of how they prepare for an open house?
I have the other activity. I was gonna talk and then she tried to put me on this. I always offer what other open houses are around.
Okay.
So you can direct them there and what the current activity is around, the location. We also have a really good sign-in sheet. It's not really a sign-in sheet. We have a list of stuff that we can offer them. And then they give us their contact information to get it. So like,
Usually like a buyer's packet.
the buyer's packet, the flow chart, they can have the supplements, they can have, notify if we have an offer. And also like if there's a pre-home inspection. So they check that up and then they'll give us their contact information for it. We stole it from, what was that drive?
Overthrive.
Yeah,
And
he
it
had
works.
that great idea and then we took it. Now it's
Yeah,
ours.
and now it's hard, now it's our idea. My new name is Overthrive. The, so does everybody understand what she's talking about? Having something of value, something that you can present your offer to the people. Now, there's many, many people that are gonna walk in, I represented a.
Yeah.
Good, thanks, I just want to look at this house. My agent is John Doe, and I just want to take a quick walk through and I'll let you know. That's fine, they can do that. It's the unrepresented people, of course, we want to get our applause. And we do want to have something that we can, then we have to leave them with something that they remember who you are, because they might be going to 3 other open houses in that area. So I'll sidecar and say, if there's 3 other open houses there and you have not talked with the other agents to see what time they're doing it, what their price point is, their bedroom count, what, get some information from them. Hey, I'm gonna send my clients over to you, you send your clients over to me, we're all in this together. It's huge when it comes to trying to get that across, because just because you have an arrow sign on First and Main, and they have theirs on Second and Main, it doesn't mean they're going that way home to see your sign and get out there. We're gonna be on the MLS, we're gonna have our signs out, and such, but we talk to the other agents in that area. It's very,
Like, how
very,
big of an area would you go?
I'll go and look at 2 mile radius. Just to see, usually it's mile, but if you're in an area where there's not a lot going on, you know, just check it out. I mean, just hit open house on the MLS and it'll show you exactly where they are. It's a very, very simple tool. We have all these tools. But, it's a matter of using them. The other, so the knowing what's going on in the market now. Amy and Stephanie were talking about having a tablet. I always have a computer running in the background with the pictures of my house, which means that I'm already logged on to the open house. I'm already logged on. I do the Wi-Fi or a hotspot so that, because when they say, God, I was really looking for a main floor master. And this doesn't have it. I'm like, well, you're on, look at the rest of the house. And I go over and I start logging in and say, okay, I need a main floor master. I need all living on one level and see what's in the area. Because by the time they come up, it's like, have you seen this one here? I'm more than happy after this open house, I could meet you over there. I just gotta pick up signs out. I could be there a half hour after, you know, depending on how many signs you have. But have the tool of the MLS there in order to show it. Also, one of the things that you do when you prepare is you have a listing. I just do either a single line or the quarter line of all the properties in the neighborhood. In the same price point area, because these guys are coming to this open house that's at $400,000. They're not looking for the 1.2 million, and they're not looking for 175,000. Just get those things out there so that you have it in front of you and you are the neighborhood expert. That's our biggest thing. I can't stress enough how many times from the play that I did earlier, where I'm running around like an idiot trying to get ready for the open house, and I go there and I'm completely unprepared, flying by the seat of my pants, and I know that these people are walking out of the house like, what the hell was that? And I'm like, that's what I do. I don't try to look. So when I am getting my stuff prepared, this is Mount Vernon Lane in Woodbury. Right over here. I have a copy of my MLS. I have the tax sheet. I have the lot printout. If I can't get a good lot printout, I have either the Onyx Hunt app. If you guys use that or not, it's really, really good. That shows all the boundaries really well. It shows who the neighbors are and all that kind of stuff, just like the MLS, but it's you have right in your hand.
What's on it for?
What makes it fun?
Yeah, it's called UNX, the letter X, Hunt. And what it does is it shows you no matter where you are, it shows you exactly what's going on, and you use it for permissions for when you're hunting. So it's a dual purpose tool, but it's a tool that you can write off as an expense for real estate. So I store it under maps, it's on it, it'll tell me exactly where I'm standing. It'll tell me who owns what, all around there, and it shows, and it's super convenient for boundary lines, like where's this property end? And, you know, I can see here that it goes up to the fence there. You can do a 2D or a 3D on it, so it's kind of a cool tool. Onyx Hunt, it's if you do one state, I think it's like $20, and if you do multiple or all states, it's like $99 a year. But it's worth it. This that's how I sold it. She's
$29 a year, 100 for all 50 states.
for all 50 states, yeah. Okay. So also in this book, I have all the photos that I took of the property, including all the drones and things like that, because it gives me the opportunity to talk about the fact that, yeah, I have a drone. I did these pictures, or my company does all the drone footage and such like that. We have Matterport, you know, this line wanted or something. But it, you know, it's needed in certain properties, those things are needed. So you have the, you know, Matterport.
Yeah, what is?
So Matterport, it's an immersive camera. So what they do is they put a 3D camera into the room, it does a circle, and they bring it over to the next room, and that's where they get the arrows. You can, that's Matterport. The virtual tour is just the one that just goes through the standard pictures and such. I have these here so that I can talk about things that I don't remember to talk about on the house. This is where we have those three peripherals again. You know, if I'm looking down while they're doing it, it's like, well, yeah, they have a pool and that's their pool house in the back, and it's natural gas, and it's, you know, got this, then a brand new cover and a new vinyl. You don't think of those things when you're, if you're not looking at a picture, or this is me, I'm old, decrepit. If I don't take my Geritol that day, I'll help you. I also have all the high school maps. So the high school, the middle school, and the elementary school, I have all the maps, and I always put them in there because if you're in Woodbury and you're doing an open house and there's kids involved, they're gonna ask you what school district it's in and where. So this is all from the South Washington County, 833 ISD or IDS or whatever it is. The ISD it is. And it shows you all the schools for all the age ranges. It's a good tool to have. And again, this is just about being the expert. RPR, the real estate resource. If you don't have this in your open house packet, start doing it now. It answers everything. Now,
What RPR is?
RPR is, what is it, real estate something resource, real estate professional.
It's on the dashboard of your MLS. front
Yeah.
page.
Yeah, in the front, yeah, if you go to tools in your MLS and you go and scroll down midway, RPR, it's real estate
Resource.
something resource. Property resource. Now, I'm gonna stop there on the RPR, and I'm gonna stop, you know, with the IDS and stuff. One thing you don't wanna do at an open house is say, yeah, I have all the information in the book and I have no idea what's in the book. Let me look it up while you're walking around the house. You have 3 days to prepare for this open house. Read stuff, figure out what you're doing, figure out where you're at. I mean, you get demographic questions, you get the taxes questions, you get the square footage questions, you get all these different questions. You can get this oddball person that comes in and wants to know something really bizarre, but it probably isn't. And it takes just a minute to go through. They go through, trying to say, all the facts. One thing that I caution you on is that they always have the current estimated value page, it's always the second page. Make sure that if it's there and it's not priced where you are. If you're like priced, if this is at $625,000, and if you're priced at 7.25, you're right. Ma'am?
And if you can't remember what's in it, instead of saying you don't know, and be like, well, it's actually in my RPR report, if you want me just to send it to you. So then
Excellent
you're
idea.
asking for that, and you're not being like, I don't remember.
You're getting their email or their phone number. I can send you this. It talks about the whole neighborhood. It shows
Yeah.
other properties that are in the neighborhood. You have their email and you're becoming a resource. You're giving them something of value.
So I just have a question in
Yeah.
regards to RPR. So it's something that you just find on MLS and it's just like information that you can discard.
What you do is you'll, when you log into RPR, you can put the property address in. And when you put the property address in, it automatically gives you the area that it's gonna research. So you go into the RPR, you put your address in, and you say generate report. The little doorbell goes off after it's done, you print it up, and there you have it. And it's got, again, I'm just touching the surface of this. It's got the home facts for that property. It's got extended home facts. So they talk about the neighborhood. They have all the historical photos, other comps and other adjustments. And again, read this because it could bite you in the ass too, because it does have a bunch of stuff lower. And you have to be able to speak to it. Why are you $50,000 higher than this? It's like, well, because we have a brand new book cover, we finished the basement, we just did this to the bathroom. You have to have that kind of stuff at your disposal. What?
Toilet.
Cool cover.
It's been freshly winterized with a piece of plastic. Hey, cling wrap.
Grandma crochet. Oh, you're- Remember?
And it's big.
Yeah.
So what, I have a quick question. You go in your RPR with your address right now.
Okay.
You just did one. There's a lot of options. There's shortcuts, prospecting for finding stuff, which we're full aged. So you just hit report.
I do the whole report. There's a buyer's report, a school report, there's all kinds of different.
Neighborhood report.
Yep.
Activity evaluation.
Yep.
But there's one report that does. all
The
of
top
that.
one, whatever that top one. I think it's just the property report, or full property report or something like that.
Property report.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hold on.
So there's a bunch of different options on the RPR.
Oh,
And it walks through because you can get just the grade school report, this year. The school reports,
So now I put in my address.
so.
There's a picture.
So they have the economic stats in there, they have the quality of life stats. They talk about, median price points of the properties, median price points of the, people who are living in them, price points with, wages and such, earnings reports, the school reports, Middleton Elementary School, Great Middle School, Eastridge High School, and parents, they want to know this stuff. If they can know this stuff, they'll be thrilled. There's another thing that I put together on, I'll do it just by city, but I only have like 3 of them now. This is the listing questionnaire, and I was prompted to do this because I worked with a lady, she was an engineer. And what she did was she put together this is a crazy list. But, and I'll give you a copy of it because this is great for Woodbury. All the utilities, internet, the water, the sewer, what the county is, what the county department of property records, the taxpayers, the school districts. All the separate schools, Eagle Valley, Bailey, then the Eagle Valley Park, Bailey Park, Edgewater Park, City of Woodbury, all the emergency services. The public library, the Lifetime Fitness, Planet Fitness, whatever. But they have all these different fitness companies, YMCA, all the grocery stores, the hospitals, the movie theaters. The lady did this in
makes me really smart. Standing on the shoulders of giants. The Alamo, New Horizon Theaters, closest freeways, coffee shops. More coffee shops, shopping centers. Veterinary care, register to vote, where you register to vote. The driver's license, I mean, it's a great report. I just give me a call and I'll get a copy of this. This is just for Woodbury. I started one for Maplewood, but it's this is where you differentiate yourself from everybody else. This is where people are like, oh, look at that. This guy did his homework. And I'm thinking to myself, huh, look at that. That lady really helped me out. I not only sold her home, but I might get a client out of it too. There's your report. That's your report. That's the ding dong I was talking about. That's it. Okay, so we're sitting right now at about 10 after 10. Okay, get coffee, go to the bathroom, relax, and try to be here at the 10:17 or 10:20. Go ahead and take a little break and we'll move on.
Yeah. Is it right? Jay's supposed to-
Yeah. Yeah, and we're done. Because Aaron set up the ALC meeting at the same time with this class, so we all did, no, I'm kidding. We're good. I don't, where are they doing the ALC meeting?
Right over.
Yeah, take a little break and off we go.
We do our own. But I have a. Yeah.
I did, it's funny when I started. I did it.
Yeah.
You know, was over.
Yeah.
Sound like simple stuff. I didn't know mine. It's like a lot to read. And really shortly after I started, then all those guns. You know, and everything shut down.
Right.
Yeah, yes, well, I think I just want to. No.
Yeah, I think.
Always. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna go check the video. First listing. Yeah, it's right in the great start. I did, it's like in my mind. Oh, that's good. I get the way of these. Of the buyers, right? So. It's kind of the mindset.
Now's the time.
Yeah, right. That's what I hear.
That's all she do.
Smell good, it's like, so the one was crying, crying all night long. Outside, crying one time. So, yeah, so I'm getting a lot of sleep. Yeah. So he took the items that he wants to. Yeah, and then also this, and then that's like our feedback. Yeah. It's part of our.
Yeah, that's good. Changed my mind. Make me see the light.
All right.
There's a lot of church.
Yes, there are. They like.
Really horrible accident. March 19 years ago. Yeah, Boston College, no entrance. That, Virgil Barkley and, How did the commercial like? Yeah.
You're at the Roseville office. That was. 40 minutes. And it was like, oh, and then we sat and just like. 40 minutes ago.
Oh, yeah, I think.
Probably did it not.
That sounds good. I think I want to. It's like share. It's share your. I don't want to. Show me what you like.
CWA and VA. Is this your music?
Yes.
Love it.
Deborah?
Where's the signage shoot?
Where? Could you make sure everybody else signed in on that?
Yeah. I thought, anyone not sign this date? Well, we're not worried about it.
Big old John Hancock on the bottom.
Good job, Nick.
All right.
Teach me how to write.
Let's pull these back together. See what we can do here.
And we're excited.
Amy's gone, so now you can have fun.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna jump back in here. I have no idea where this thing is, but. That's good. So we're in the middle of this, this prepare, prospect and pursue. In the preparedness, we're talking about some of the things that we like to have organized. And when when we're getting organized, does anybody else have like the thing we're talking about, something you can give to a good buyer, someone that you think that, this could be a good prospect for me. Do you have something tangible that you could hand them other than your business card and a sheet on the property?
Yeah. Our team has a buy and sell basically booklet to give to potentials that walk them through the whole process, what our team offers and all that stuff.
Right?
We have those ones ready to go.
Does anybody else have anything that they use? Okay, first I'll say shame on you.
Well.
It's too late, I already shamed you.
I give them a little clipboard and give them a pen and they.
Take notes and things like that, and your name's plastered all over it? Okay,
I'll tell you what I've been running into, first time home buyers or younger generation. YouTube is saying, don't sign with an agent, use the listing agent. There's all this YouTube, right?
Yep.
So I have been bringing my buyer's presentation book with, so I'd be like, hey, educate, right? Take this with, make sure no matter what you do, that you're interviewing agents, blah, 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 through this.
absolutely.
Something I just started, because I'm like, okay, this newer generation is different.
It's different. Everybody's looking online at what they should be. What they should be doing online, and they're getting it from the professional, who's a 14-year-old and
Yeah.
so. You said a key word there. So now I hand out a book. Go ahead, Denise.
So I've got a that I have, and you can get it through command.
So there's other things too, man, and I have this book, and I'll bring like, like five or 10 of them, depending on what it looks like in the market. And it's got my agency relationship and a transaction, so that they have that, they can read that. It has the home buyer's guide. And I'll pass I've got two, I'll pass them around, you just look at it. It's not a command. The home buyer's guide, tailored to your team or your individual. It's got the meet the team or meet, if they meet you.
All right.
So it's got. Again, to meet the team,
give an opportunity to talk about your experience and your background and, you know, just why you're in real estate. Don't think that it has to be some perfectly orchestrated, you know, stupendously worded, Nobel Peace Prize, anything. It's just gotta talk about real estate I've done for this long, even if you're new, even if you're new. I'm working with this team, you can use Keller Williams, the shoulders of Keller Williams are very, very broad. I know that when I started, does anybody remember the Verizon commercials, with the little guy with black hair, he used to wear the gray suit, zippered up. I always use that as my line, you know, I'm a new agent. I'm working with Keller Williams, I have a huge team, I got 150 agents that work with me. I'm the guy in the gray suit, and I have my team, they're in the boom truck, the helicopter, and all the people that are there, they're all helping us sell. We have different approaches to real estate, we all work together in order to sell our business. And it's absolutely true, you know, we're not BSing them, I'm not making myself sound bigger. I'm saying that I'm here and you can work with me, but I got all these resources behind me, and we do. So we talk about the team, I talk about this is again, right out of command. What our clients are saying, I have a testimonial page or two, no, just one. You know, there's 3 lines, so make it a big difference. I'll read it. So. Kevin Booth. The home buying process, and it kind of just walks through the home buying process. It breaking down the process, getting pre-approved, you know, the wants and needs analysis that we do, and it kind of gives them that little walk around, and then their contract to close breakdown as well. So they have this book, and they have this, it's got base all over it, poor bastards, but I also have a breakdown of a bunch more testimonials, about 4 pages of testimonials, testimonials. You're gonna get that. I have all the forms in here, because my hope is that if it's a slow open house and that one poor sucker comes in, I can sit them down and say, hey, let me show you what it's gonna look like when you do this. So even if you bought a house 5 years ago, there's differences now. Let's talk about it. I can show you some of these things. I have the listing agreement, the home inspection, I even bring a listing input form in there just so I can walk through. Here's how this is all getting arranged. So because people have weird questions. You can if you want to walk that or share that around here. Anything I brought to them, so if you want to look at it, just see, it's all copyable out of command.
I don't want to see it.
You heard all the pictures of me and you want to bring it out,
I haven't got the picture, I need the information.
So. If we could, Doug, why don't you read that for us?
The difference between big and really big is how you manage your time.
What does that mean?
Time block. Proper use of time.
Proper use of time management. That was always the big key word before, was time management. So when we're talking about time management, we have to talk about what goals, what are we trying to achieve in here? Now, here it says, you know, it's important to set goals that are achievable and that will require a lot of work. Setting attainable and difficult goals will help maximize the participants' return on investment. What goals could be useful to set for yourself before you host an open house? What kind of goals would you put in front of yourself before you hold an open house?
Well, know where you're gonna put your signs at ahead of time.
Yeah, most effective sign placement. Absolutely. That's a very good one.
You can print it out.
Well, you know what? We're supposed to do this for 4 minutes. You guys are supposed to talk amongst yourselves. I'll just shut up. If you guys talk amongst yourselves, pair up with your twos And you Mo and Miss Steve, you guys got that? Just talk about what goals you would like to achieve in 4 minutes. If you're sitting, getting ready, you're preparing for an open house. What are you thinking about? What are the things that you wanna have? What's the perfect outcome? And how would you get there? We talk amongst yourselves and I'll play.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's a good one.
I
need to change like this. Yeah. I love your. Yeah. Yeah. So we still follow up with them, and I'm just like, told her. Stop. Oh. You think it's, like, but then they might be like, no. To me. The only way to tell. And then we kind of, we're like, okay, well. Like that's.
It really.
Yeah. So you have to share.
All right. Let's pull it back and still be.
Neighbors, because I don't want the system to.
What do you come up with? What are some of the, yep, what do you prepare? How do you prepare for it?
Then we talked about having this available.
Okay.
Flyers, and if you run out of flyers, we brought up a really great point of feeling, oh, I'm so sorry, we've been so busy, I ran out, I just want to send you the information, can I just get your information, I'll send it over, or Nick mentioned creating a QR code for sharing your end. The information of the property if you didn't.
Okay. You are good. You are good. How about somebody else? Scott, Jackie, what'd you come up with?
Preparing for the open house.
Yeah.
I always get there an hour early to door knock. I haven't been doing the calls like I should, but now I've learned from yesterday's training how to do those calls on the slide broadcasting, so I'm gonna start that. Obviously, I get really familiar with the property, whether it's my listing or not, right? Because I do a lot for Chris Jensen, open houses, and I really, really go down on parcel map. Schools, all that.
I'll stop you there. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How, okay, this is something that you should probably listen to. How do you pick that house? How do you pick the house you want to do? What's your criteria?
Well, I do all my own listings,
Okay,
always.
if you're looking on 9705 Market Center, what would be the criteria for you?
Honestly, who's gonna let me look at my house? And obviously I can't always drive an hour and a half away, so geographic location, price point, I'm not too worried about because most homes are in a good price point for me. Any home is in a good price point for me. So I don't discern. I don't have a big discernment list. I'm just grateful to get somebody else's listing to work on the house.
Okay, anybody else? How do you pick an open house? What do you do?
I have a question for Jay. How do you said you reach out, to neighbors by phone, how do you do that? How do you
I reach out, I physically door knock, and I love to door knock neighbors prior to an open house. I have not done the calls because I wasn't quite sure the system to use with yesterday's training. We learned about the slide broadcasting, so I'm gonna incorporate that into my prep work. I think that's awesome. I just haven't done that. I haven't had to. Do that.
Yeah.
Now I do. I
Yeah.
mean, right?
We're going back to school.
That's what doesn't the slide broadcasting give you the call
No,
numbers?
it doesn't. You have to upload your own list. So I go from my database and we have two separate voice notes you can send out. One, I can grab everyone that lives in that county
Okay,
from my database and I'll grab their phone numbers and then Amy can slide broadcast them. Otherwise, I do Land Voice, which is a paid service. You can do a neighborhood search with Land Voice. And then you just grab all of the numbers. Honestly, we have like 3,000 people we can export. If anyone needs a list, we could just give it to them. Like,
Yeah.
we're allowed 3,000 per month. So I mean, like, if you need.
What's the cost? What does that cost? Land Voice?
Well, we have it with we do physical, and we also do expired, so it's free with that. So we don't really pay for the actual neighborhood.
Okay,
So it's a little bit different, but yeah, it's like, I think it's like 134.
all right, so,
We have physical expired on it.
so there are opportunities to do that now, from a cost containment standpoint, knocking on doors, just try to go around there, and you can learn a lot by doing that as well. I mean, the slide dialing is really cool, if you're really trying to attack the house, but I'm in the process right now, probably getting my neighbor. I told them, going around telling the neighbors that, hey, I'm getting ready to list this house. And I found out that another house is going on the market by another agent that owns the house. He's putting another one on there, that's knowledge is power. Hey, I want to be on the market before he is, so I'm gonna strive to do that. So I learned something that's very valuable to me. I see what the other properties on the MLS of the other properties when they're vetting it. So then again, you're gonna get a great expert because you're walking on. Then I can say, well, I'm listing a house here. There's another house that's gonna go here, and this one was pending. We don't know what it's sold for yet, but yada yada yada. This one closed. This is sold for, and you just have that information. You're just giving them something, and that's if they, I get a lot of Ring video, get off my porch. But honestly, it's a really valuable tool for your neighborhood, for your area. And when I say 10, 10, 10, I mean both sides of the street, is 10 that way, 10 this way. So you're getting, when you get a little, and the weather's starting to change. I know it sucks when it's cold out and stuff like that, but You know, we're in business and we have to dress warm and toughen up, buttercup. We gotta, that's how we're gonna get our business. Now, back to Jackie was talking about how she picks her open house. So you're looking for the open house, you're just looking for somebody that has, does anybody have anybody different, any different approach on what they look for in an open house?
I mean, if it's honestly over $700,000, I usually, I do it for fun, but I know that most of the people approach that kind of problem. They have it.
Yeah.
But to invest that much, I usually go between 300 to 600 range.
Okay, I'll dispel that. You're wrong.
Wrong?
You are wrong. Most of the people don't.
Yeah.
What just happened yesterday?
Where you had the,
I have two people that want me to hog the property. I listed for $780,000. Guy approached me. I was snow blowing their driveway because they're old people. Approached me and said, you can be my agent, pay you cash, let's do this, we'll close up on it, and I don't even have to see the property. Boom. Done.
What happened?
And the guy just approached me. He says, yeah, I'm looking at the house. My wife told me to drive by here. I just happened to be in the driveway. And he's like, yep, I'll write a cash offer. Don't need an inspection, just get me the well certificate and the water quality test and we're good. After that, I get a phone call from a lady in Dallas. We're flying up there. We know we're gonna put an offer on this. Would you be our agent? It's not, they're not always taken.
I
That's
don't know, this is what I heard.
right. That's what you heard.
But they gave me the wrong.
Super key word there. That's what I heard. I saw that on YouTube. Live it, man. I'm telling you, you go and just try it. This field, we have more people that talk about the negatives than the positives by far. You know, I had a bad experience. You always hear that saying is that if something bad goes wrong, 7 people are gonna know about it. If something good happens, maybe 2. And it's the absolute truth. It's so.
But I don't get me wrong, I had open house, those properties, but my back.
The drunk monkey.
Yeah.
The drunk monkey's in the back there saying, it's true. I mean, we've all been surprised that, you know, you can run into it. What do you got?
I really enjoy working with first time home buyers because it's a very fulfilling clientele to work with because they're just so exciting to be excited with them. So I'll look at the properties between like that, like 150 to 350 price range a lot of times because that's more that first time home buyer tier price
Yeah,
range.
right.
And so that's what I'll look for, try to stay close to where I'm at, so really involved in the community, that'll kind of just branch out from there, see what I've got. And if it's a good quality home, then, you know, looks like it's got good bones to it.
Yeah.
That's what I'll pick, because that's something that people can put a little bit of sweat equity into and build it up. And the generation of home buyers that are coming into the market right now, me being part of that generation,
Sure.
we're looking for something that we're able to build a little bit on, because it is so expensive to get into housing. So if we're able to just put a little bit of sweat into it, we'll take it.
Yep. Absolutely right. I think that, you know, that you touched on a couple of things there. One is that, you know, people will shop at price points. Where do you feel comfortable? Who do you feel comfortable talking to? You know, that kind of thing. And I was in that realm for a long time. I said, you know what, I live in a $200,000 house that I feel comfortable talking to people that are, I know a lot about that price point of the people. It's you. I wouldn't get stuck in the trap of that. I wouldn't automatically jump up to, you know, 1.2 million, where you have these people who are really architecturally savvy, and they're gonna ask you about this kind of wood and built molding and gonna do this and that and those, and what kind of that are. You know, but educate yourself before you go. Educate yourself. When you call that agent, and if I get a phone call, you give me a call and you say, hey, Kevin, I'd like to hold your open house on 123 Main Street. Can you tell me about the property? If I say, yeah, I got absolutely available on Sunday to hold it open. Can you tell me about the property? Is there anything in the seller's disclosure that I should know about? Is there anything on the property that, you know, I would be able to know? And take that 72 sold approach of what are the curriculums of that property, then what are some of the things that I could walk people around and say, you know, here's you know, a wine cellar, he built it himself. Or what have you, what have they done, what are the updates and that kind of stuff, so familiarize yourself with that. Picking the open house, it's more, again, it's more than just. It's Sunday morning, running around, trying to hit the print button, doing it, it's, you gotta be prepared because you gotta be the resource, you gotta be the person that comes in and is able to. Keep that audience when they do come in. So that's my thought on it. Does anybody else got any ideas there?
I think the biggest thing for me is just if I am getting, you know, as I'm looking for a house to host open, if I am excited about the property. That's what I'm, if I'm not excited about the property, I'm not gonna post the open, because if I'm not excited about it, anybody that comes in, so like that.
Yeah, be able to tell.
So if I'm excited about it, and there's something that intrigues me about it, I've already got something and it's gonna be genuine, because people can see through the BS. They
Yeah.
can see through the mask, they can see through all of that. They go, yeah, that's fake.
Okay,
So,
now, with that said, it's harder and harder to find open houses because there's not a lot of listings. You ever have to suck it up and say, okay, maybe I'll buy into this a little bit more and be a little bit more excited about something because I'm actually able to work on a Sunday, maybe you're fine.
I haven't really run into that issue because I got 45 in the office right now, so I haven't run into
Okay,
a lack of options yet.
anybody else, anybody run into that where they're, you know, you're not sure if you're truly excited about that property, but yeah, I'll do it. I mean, what the heck, it gets me out of the house and there's no football game on today.
Yeah, almost any open,
Yeah,
give me.
I think that
So one of the other things, we talked about a couple of other things, then, so you pick that open house. And now you gotta find out about what else do you have to know about?
I think one thing is that, when you're talking about the price point and being prepared for the open house. If it's gonna be first time home buyers, have the down payment assistance program, like as a flyer to hand out.
Amen.
If it's gonna be like a move up or like, someone who's like expanding their family, maybe doing like the recast program, through Matt Minder.
Yep.
Because you can buy a house and then, live in that house before you sell your house, so that's like if you're a family having to sell and buy at the same time, then that would be like a good thing, right?
That's
So
right.
just, or you can talk to Brian at Bell Bank too, and ask him for like a flyer.
Yeah, that's just, get a breakdown on what opportunities might present themselves at that time. Know what the interest rate is, you know, get an idea, because, you know, it's always fluctuating, but if you can get yourself a little bit of information, you know, talk to your lender, whoever you call, look it up. But the idea is that, again, knowledge is power. Now, the other thing, you're in the house and you get to know all these little programs and things. Remember, you have to know the neighborhood like we're talking about. Getting that preparing. I cannot tell you enough how valuable that is to know what school district you're in. Know what both the public and the private schools are in the area. Know what where's the shopping center? Another thing is if you're in an HOA, know what the HOA numbers are. I mean, and this is, you're reading it, you can read that all, you know, the day before. You know that it's $328 and it covers this, this, and this. It might be just the monuments, but it might be the pool and the hootenanny, and then drive that neighborhood. I am guilty of sitting in the office too much and not getting out and looking at what I'm doing. So I've been trying to make it a point to, like, if I'm gonna do something in Stone Mill Farms curve, I'm gonna know that it's, you know, first service is the HOA. I'm gonna know what it covers. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna take pictures of their little convention, we got a community center there, the pools, to get the activities, go online, pull up what they have coming up in the next couple of months. Because they always, you know, plan little things, but again, you're that neighborhood resource. And you can, it draws people to you, they want to keep asking you questions. And if you can keep them around, that's half the battle right there. They're just in a hurry and just want to get out. Well, you just wasted time. And if you didn't have the answers, you're really wasting time. There's another thing I was supposed to ask here. If the goal of an open house is to generate quality leads, what other things should you think about before you pick the home and the other house? Again, we talked about the price point. Is there anything else? Does anybody else know? Is there anything else that you would think about before you pick that particular house?
If you have to give a referral to the listing agent. And you should have that locked in or at least ask about it.
That is huge.
Wow, I know. If someone hosts like an open house at one of our listings or something like, would you have to give us a referral from the agent anyway? Because it's our listing. So I think like just having a discussion or like being able to like make sure that's decided for before you have a closing set.
Yeah, before you're sitting at the table, and saying, hey, it's a 25% share.
Open house, you're good, you know.
Yeah, we appreciate you being there, but there are some
But if
particular
we're-
agents.
If we're paying for the mailer, if we're paying for all the marketing, we have all the like all the printed materials, then we might ask for a 25%
Mhm.
referral.
Yeah.
But that's
That's right.
because we've already paid for everything for you to do it.
So on that note, I mean, it's a very good thing to say, like, if I go into an open house and I'm doing an open house for Kim's, like, I get there, I take all of her shit and put it in the drawer. Everything, put it in the drawer, like, Kim who? I don't know. And I put all my stuff out there and I. But it is, I mean, you're there for yourself, you're not there, you're there to sell the property. I am gonna show them on my agency agreement, my agency relationship form, that I'm a buyer's agent in this capacity. I'm here to work for you. I'm here to present this house to you, for you. I am not associated with this. There's no issues with dual agency because I'm completely removed from her. She's their fiduciary, I would be your fiduciary. So make sure you do that, but and I did get stuck, like Stephanie said, I did get stuck one time where I was wrapping things up. And had a closing coming up and there was a 10% commission split on it that I had no idea. I was like, what the hell, they never said it, I never signed anything or anything like that. Well, I just assumed you knew. What does assume mean? They can ask out of you and me, right?
So Kevin, you're saying with that 10% is that you held an open house and got a client
Mhm.
from someone else's property.
Right.
And then that person who had the property said, hey, here's my property. That's good.
Right. So the first thing that pops in your head is what? Procurement. You know, who procured that? I procured this buyer and I did it myself. Well, their first thing is that they let them do the open house and they're doing this for me and they didn't even discuss it with me. Now, I paid it. It was something that I could have bought and been like, hey, what? I procured the client. I could have gone anywhere with this client. We just chose it right at this house because it's the only open house. But you know, that's it's so Stephanie's right. You do have to try and cover your bases. I would say I would not call Marjorie and say, hey, are you gonna charge me if I don't know that I would put the bug in there here necessarily. But I would say that, you know, if I procure this client, if I procure somebody from here, it's mine. You know, I would make sure that I was pulling it into my court, not giving them the idea that, hey, so you can get them for 10 or 15 or 25%.
So do they, like, how would you know that if then that agent, that, I mean, they wouldn't have, do they have it?
It is not anywhere. It's only happened once. It was with somebody in our office here, and it was odd. It was the times were a little tougher at that point when that happened, so people were kind of scrambling a little bit. And I think that's why that happened. It's only happened one time, and I clarified it any other time they did it for him or her. They don't know that. I want to be able to talk about professionalism here in some point too, but all right, so
what other questions might visitors have at an open house other than just the common? Has anybody run into kind of the weird stuff? Alex, you look like you're about to say something right off your back.
What kind of people live in this neighborhood?
Yeah, get that? You know, that, and you know, that's when I say, you know what? There's my RPR. It's got all the demographics, the jobs, the schools, everything in there. Let me send that over to you. Because I'm not gonna say. Scotland's next door and that's gonna. fuck things up. You don't want that going on. But yeah, I wouldn't move there. But that's a great question. I mean, we can't red line, we can't do anything
I
like
had
that.
another agent flat out ask me, how low will you go?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Hey, what'd you say? What was your answer?
What we listed for is what, like, your biggest. And bring
That's
your-
it. That's the answer. Guys, your best. I have no idea. Okay, I'm not a mind reader. No idea.
Yeah.
What's your lowest? Put that in.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you feel is insulting? Just go about that.
When you bring me your birth certificate, bring me garbage cans. So
Why is that? That's a good one.
make sure you use recycled paper. So explain, bringing a speaker to a house, bringing somebody else who can speak to the house or the rates or the whatever. There's talking about, you know, what if you had a lender with you? What if you had an inspector with you to facilitate conversation and such, keep people there a little longer, gain interest in not only the house, but the parties that are at the house. I've done that before. Inspectors are kind of weird. They're great, but you know, they want to. An inspection company, this is kind of sidecar here, but inspection company, you know, their opportunity there is to find something wrong with the house that you're gonna do something. Boy, all the hands went up. You said. Go ahead.
What do you mean, bring it?
Bring an inspector with you, bring on a lender. with you. Bring- Yeah, yeah, and you can, because it's a, home warranty guy, you know, somebody that can help you keep people at the know. That's for a couple of reasons. One, you're getting some answers, questions, and you're able to have some holding time to have these people in your pen there for a while. But the other is that they might be able to answer the questions that you just don't know. You don't know the answer, you know. If we were joking around in the hallway at the break and said, hey, Brian, what are the rates gonna be like next week? And he's like, oh, no, but he knows that they are right then. And I could pre-qualify you and get you on a computer here, and you could get pre-qualified, you could probably get pre-qualified in 20 minutes.
Well, plus people don't like walking in when you're just staring at them and you're the only one there and they're awkward and they don't want to talk to you and maybe they just want to look, but if there's someone else in there, then it feels more comfortable and easy.
Absolutely.
For your buyers, do you use a Wisconsin inspector because they're licensed, or do you just let them run with the Minnesota ones?
No, I'll, for Wisconsin, I'll have,
Minnesota, I do a better service for your clients to use a more qualified inspector.
I use the same inspector, right, there's two inspectors for years and years. Brian worked in Wisconsin and Scott Schuneman here. The reason is because they're very easygoing guys, but they're not the alarmists, like the guys that sit here in the structure tech. Those guys are straight, they have to find something wrong and they oversell their product and it's just crazy.
It's Scott Schuneman from my house. I feel like he kind of smoothed over some stuff,
Yeah.
you know?
Did he?
Yeah.
Get screwed. No. Yeah. That was your agent, I would have figured out. But
Maybe next time, yeah.
But there's, you know, and you always have to remember, in the defense of the people that are going and looking at the house, they can only do so much, and we can't do the intrusive testing, we can't see behind the wall and such. Sometimes they'll, you know, say it's a 17-year-old furnace, and you're probably gonna wanna start thinking about doing this or asking for a home warranty, and that's our job. But
Somewhere else that's cool.
Bring people with you.
oh, yeah, okay, this is having that additional conversation is always nice to have in an open house too. Another thing that
that was just brought up is it can be a little awkward at the open house. I always talk to the sellers, whether it's my agent or not. I get their Wi-Fi. I ask them if they could turn on the TV. If there's a TV downstairs with, like the movie theater, or something like that, can get put on a movie that can just replay and just have noise, have some activity there. I bring my Bose boom box if I'm in a vacant property and just have that playing in the background, because you're right, it gets really awkward. They're walking around the house and you just say, "Yeah, perfect."
And they're just, I usually use a speaker too, and if you go to Spotify, you can search open house playlists that people pay, which is kind of.
Well, that's kind of cool. Yeah, you don't want to have like something playlist and also just move. Like big butts. But I don't really like that song, but it's the only thing I can think of.
I like a little candle too.
That's a great idea too.
There's some smell that I don't like.
Another thing, with the smells is, and that sounds kind of stupid, but go to the kitchen, unscrew a light bulb, bring a little vanilla, cooking vanilla, dip it in the light bulb, you screw it on, it smells like cookies.
I'll start it, light bulb, you put them in.
Huh?
Where do you put it on?
Right in the, dip it out. Now the new LEDs, it doesn't work, but if you have the,
In the stove. Yeah, about the stove.
yeah, that's somewhere where they go, yeah, it smells like cookies. It's awesome. Yeah, when you get that cat pee house, it's nice to have cat pee and cookies. There's nothing worse. Plugins, plugins have a place, but you gotta shut those things down because man.
I go in and I feel
Sometimes.
like. Plug in like.
I always wonder when they're covering up.
Right? You know, me too.
You can spray Lysol the disinfectant because it actually eliminates odors. It doesn't cover them up.
Yeah,
So like when I do like my turnovers and stuff, I'll just spray Lysol. And you can get a 3-pack at Costco. It's what, like $10.
yeah, the big 3-pack of,
What is your office smell like? Something died or something, was it orange or something goes in your office?
I've had why.
Some fruit died in Kevin's office, and it smelled so bad.
It's actually a skunk, and I know.
We sprayed Lysol in it and actually it does pick up odors.
All right, during the open house, visitors sign up upon the arrival at the event. Some agents make this a requirement, stating that it's a safety measure. You can even ask them to leave something of value while they tour the home, like their car keys or a driver's license. Again, this is a safety measure. Explain to the participants that setting up a sign-in station allows them to capture leads and they can follow up. The best way for sign up is that, listen, you have to do me a favor. Yeah, I need you to sign in. The seller is requesting that happens. Now, normally, this is a new book, but normally I'll have the sign up there. And I'll have my agency relationship in the transaction right here. And this paper right there, it's there, so if that secret shopper comes in, I have it right out in the place there where they can see it. You can make your own.
Secret shop?
I don't know.
And they tell you like, well, okay, you got this open house, we did secret shopping.
I've never had anybody call me and say like, gotcha. No, I never had that happen, but
They gotta let you know though after the fact.
they'll let you know afterwards by saying, hey, we're at your open house and.
You either did good or you did.
Right.
Yeah.
You're gonna be fine, you're not.
Yeah. It's, I know, that's lovely.
The thing, so the signing thing always drives people crazy, like, how do I do that? Because, it's the first thing you said, how do you get people, it's so uncomfortable to have people sign in. But if you lay it on somebody else and say, listen, my boss, the seller mandates that we have people sign in, just you turn it on to somebody else and it's system, just say it, get it out there. It's not a big, you don't have to have this big, it shouldn't petrify us to say, listen, you're gonna be walking through their house, they just wanna know who's coming through, et cetera. It's a safety precaution for them and And I'm trying to capture your lead as well. I just want to see maybe if there's something I can do for you later. The screw off or just mark on the boxes that I've already represented, you won't hear from me again. Because that's, you know, that's what they, one of the questions here, are you with an agent? But it's trying not to, I mean, don't make these things insurmountable as far as, you know, you're there. Took your Saturday or your Sunday for 3 hours. And you're afraid to ask the people who are, you're there, I open the house for you. I got all prepared for you, and you're not gonna sign in. And I guess sometimes you get fake names, but normally you don't. You know, they might say, again, we're working with somebody, we're not really interested, but okay, we'll just sign in. And if it's like a neighbor or something like that, just put your name in there and a fake email, I don't care about that, just so that I have a head. Because if you're doing the property for somebody else, somebody's doing an open house for me. I'm gonna call you on Monday morning and ask what your activity is, and I'm expecting that agent, whoever it is, to say, we had 6 people come through, there's one that has a little bit of interest, they were all represented, or I may have picked up the client down the deal. Just because it's respectful to the person, because they have to report something to the town. So always kind of keep that in the back of your mind as well. You wanna take notes and remember their names. I did not say, I walk around this tag on for the they remember me, but they might go tag with Bill and Sue, blah, 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 and then, you know, I go and walk around and say, something about a shoe. It's, I completely forget sometimes. So I always try to do the, well, thanks, Bill and Sue, for coming in, and Bill, if you have any questions as you're walking around, and just try and kind of ingrain it in your head, because when you get busy and you have those, the third person people, you're not gonna remember. But I'll write it down, and that, who said, you have the flipboard. Keep one for yourself when it gets busy. Keep something with you so you can say, okay, and we need you to sign in, because, you know, especially when it's busy, people will understand that. Yeah, it's busy, I gotta keep track of what's going on here, who's here, please sign in first. Before you go through the house, I ask that you just sign.
I asked them if they're working with the realtor and just tell them, oh, and if you could write their name down, I'll let them know that you came through, and I can dialogue. with the
Perfect.
other.
So I wonder, when you say that, if you ask somebody a leading question, I wonder if it's better to not say, are you working with a realtor? I would have it on the sheet there, and when they're doing it, say, you know, please mark down if you are working with somebody and who they are, so I can contact you, but you don't want to be like, hi, you working with a realtor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all see you. They all-
That's where that Lysol comes in.
They are, that's one. Oh, people.
Yeah.
Write that down.
And it's good. It's just, you want to make sure that you're steering the conversation into your conversation. And it's not, I'm not trying to make it a difficult endeavor, trying to make it as easy as possible. Sign that, but, you know, or don't walk through.
If they, even if they say they're working with a realtor, if they don't have a contract signed, they're free. So they might be like, oh yeah, we have a realtor, but they might just have someone in mind.
Right.
Amy still follows up with them and then talks to them directly, not the agent, because you're just tipping them off with the person they haven't talked to in 4 years is interested in the house. So then she just follows up with them and then says, well, have you signed a buyer contract with?
Yep.
If the answer is no, and then she can be like, well, if you write an offer with me on the house, we actually have our commission down to 4%. So we normally do a 6%, but if we hog it, it's actually 4%. So then it saves the seller money.
But
And
don't
then
call
you
it,
can-
but don't call it August.
Well, you know what? I'm not gonna say that. So, yeah, so then it saves, so the seller could net a better offer with you having both of them, because we have it in our agreement. And we also have it in MLS too, so we can't get in trouble.
Yep, there you go. That's very, very good. Remember Denise yesterday when I said I had the worst cup of coffee in my whole life? I just did it again. Too bad, I don't like that.
Okay, once you've captured the contact information, you have plenty of opportunities to wow them with your technology and expertise after the event. If you do not use a sign-in sheet, what other ways can you capture the contact information? And we kind of talked about that, the different command might have something. Now, this is an Ignite class for people to learn stuff from. If you are writing this stuff down, earmark the page that, you know, for your to-do list, because if you do want to go and do this, you don't want to start looking for your stuff on Sunday morning. Your sign-in sheet and your electronic this and all that, your signs, anything. This is all about trying to be prepared and walk in, sit down, relax, and hold a comfortable open house. It's the running around stuff. When I was doing that, it happens, and come here on a Sunday. It's a riot. You'll just see people are just like, oh, I get this. Forgot that. I gotta pick up these, and it's kind of funny to watch. And you can bet that that's happening in every real estate office around in Twin Cities, because people don't prepare. It's so if you're thinking about, boy, an electronic would be really cool, which it would, you're gonna have your laptop out there anyway. So you're gonna have the MLS up. You can have two screens going and just say, heck, yeah, please just sign in here. And, you know, let us know if there's any pertinent information that you like us to know. And the MLS is up and you can go back to your pictures and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's very important. Anyway. Is there any other lead capture ideas that anybody has as far as anything else that they would do to
Text them that, or let them. Your app, send them your app.
send them the? Hell, yes, we have their Keller Williams app. Is anybody using the Keller Williams app? It's a great idea just to have the information. You know, you're able to send that to them. You got their phone number, you got their name, they have the app, they can look it up. The app is pretty good. It's not, 100%. Nick, you gave a thumbs down on it. You don't like it?
I just like the home spot.
Oh, the home spotter? Yes.
So my question is, when you're saying that you're sending that to him, is after you've already received like their email and that's your first contact number? What?
Yeah, well, you can just tell me, I'll send it to you right now, and then you're collecting your.
Oh, it's right there. Okay.
And then the what is it, the RTR report too, you can send that and then it will generate. That way you have their.
Yeah, it's all lead
That's a
capture.
really good way.
It's lead capture for sure. The idea behind the app. It's a great idea to be able to send that for that. It's not always 100%, but it's way better than not.
Do you guys?
It collects their information as they register in it, so you don't even have your computer,
Yeah, it goes
Yeah.
in, drop it as a lead. I think it's a cool lead.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. But, in all this technology, there's, what do they say? There's a million ways to skin a cat and there is, I mean, you have one home. I'm not overly impressed with the one home app through the MLS, but it's what gets set up there. If you can send them your app, or your Keller Williams app, and make sure you do all your login information on there so that when it comes, for some reason, like somebody sent me. No, I sent it off to somebody else. And it was Chris Jensen's information was on there instead of, and I was like, I had no idea how that happened. So check it, make sure you log in and all your profile information is set up, get your smiling face on there so they remember who you were. Know your market, kind of picking the right host. Picking the right host for the open house. When somebody asks me for an open house, sometimes I will just say, no, you know what, I've already got it covered, or we're not gonna have one, and I might be lying, because if you're not, if it's not I wouldn't say if it's not the right person, but I mean, if you're the one that's running around in the office and you're not gonna be prepared. Do I wanna throw my sellers out of the house for 2 hours and make sure? And I have never done a checklist with that with somebody, but you can. And you know, if it's your open house and your sellers are very particular about who's in the house, which happens quite a bit. They wanna know what's going on. You know, we're signing that open house information up with them. They're allowing us the opportunity for a Keller Williams Premier agent to do the open house. Hey, good luck, Alex. You'll get it. I'll talk to you later today. They're allowing you the opportunity to bring a stranger into the house and sit in their house for a while. Let's make sure that it's most productive use of their time and your time. From the seller standpoint. Picking a time for your open house. You know, you kind of want to watch the Vikings game or the Packers game or the Bears game is what I watch, but you know, make sure you're doing that. That's kind of self-explanatory. I think, you know, you don't want to do it when there's going to be zero traffic. Explain the major theme of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent is to learn from individuals that preceded you, and that's what we're doing now. Yeah, so this is a good, so we talk about Saturday afternoons and kids. You know, a lot of activities for kids, and it draws parents to the sidelines instead of to the open houses. So, you know, you want to be cognizant of that. If you do something on a Saturday, you know, maybe you want to do it a little bit later in the day, you know, because they like to get us up early and have us out cheering for kids when it's cold and rainy out and still, but so kind of think that, what are the benefits of holding an open house at the same time as another open house?
Yeah.
More than one thing.
Yep, the people are able to get there. And what are we talking about earlier?
About reaching out to the other agent
Mhm.
and saying, hey, I'll be signing.
Yeah, Denise?
I was just gonna echo that, 'cause when I did, open up. I went through and, if anybody hasn't seen Aaron's open house presentation, it's on her YouTube channel, but she does a really good job of talking about making sure you print out, and this was, I didn't, the first one was the comment I did, I was probably like running around in the office, trying to get it all together and knowing what I know now, this is all a lot different, but one of the things is printing out and then the open houses. This last week, I was able to say, okay, hey, you didn't like this one, check out this place, just down the street, it's open, and then boom, I'm the expert.
Yeah.
I give them my card, I give my guide.
And then, you know, one other thing on that is you're calling that agent, you're talking to that agent first. What's going on at that house? Do you have any activity, what's your open house? You probably do this, you're not gonna know their activities, but you know, are there a lot of showings on the property, et cetera? But if you're talking to that agent, that's what makes you the expert, is that, you know what, there's another 4-bedroom, 4-bath, it's right down, it's go 2 blocks down and take a left, it's right there. Carol's doing that open house, and she's a pretty good agent, I'm a hell of a lot better. But here's the address of the house. Right, yeah, because you're hoping that they do it.
You know what I like to do, and I think I learned this from Aaron's. But I obviously, you know, it's active in the neighborhood, and there's probably not enough seen. I'll say, do you want, done in an hour, do you want me to get you in, blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely.
I can schedule it now if you want to see that one, and then boom.
You got it. I've been late for more get-togethers because of that.
Because of that.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I do have to do that. Let's go to there.
Yeah.
I'll go show our house and these people and see there. Well, then with wires. Presentation. That's great. There's something else I was supposed to ask. Oh, non-traditional times for open houses. What are the benefits for non-traditional times? We all know that Saturdays and Sundays. What do you think? Why would somebody hold one on Thursday or Friday night?
People are coming in are specifically coming into that house. It's not just a drive.
Some people work on weekends.
Yeah.
You know, so you have the opportunity to use your social media or your slide dial or your what have you, to let people know that it's gonna be open. You know, hey, get here before in the rush on the weekend, that kind of stuff. And then just a video, you can do it. I did a video for this class, in Mauritius where there's all these big things. But it was just a video part that gets like that said, it says, hey, I'm gonna give you an open house. I know it's a weird time, but Thursday from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, I'm gonna be on 2-3 Main Street. If you have anybody that might be interested, put in the neighborhood, or you're just bored, or you want to come by and say hello, I love it. And that's it, put the address down there at the top of the post, and, you know, it's in, maybe you get somebody, maybe you don't, but you have quality time to work, get the Wi-Fi so you can work. Okay. You may attract clients that don't normally attend open houses, so that's the same thing. Never mind. But I said it like it was a brand new question. Josh, I have no idea what it is. Build trust, rapport. Okay, so this is when you're prospecting. Now, we talked about what you bring to the open house. Is there anything else that you could bring to an open house that might assist in obtaining that buyer as yours? Is there anything else you can think of? Something tangible?
I bring water bottles with my label on it, so then as they leave, they're holding it in their hand. Usually you put it in your cup holder, whatever, you can see it.
That's awesome. Now, how did you get your water?
My husband makes them for me out of name tag stickers and then puts them in the computer. He's much better at this than what I am.
So he just, he prints them up and you just stick them over your Kirkland water
like-
bottle?
I love that you hand them out to at random place.
Yeah, I like events and stuff.
Yeah, that was plain that they're left over from.
Yeah, that was all Erin. She taught me that. She's like, don't tell him you just did it. It makes it seem like you're. Like you want passive aggressive ways to make them remember you.
Passive aggressive.
Yeah, right?
So do you have other things that you do to try to make your open house memorable? That's great. Is it just a little 2.5 by 3?
Really just my signature line for the most part.
And you get
Yeah, it just says courtesy of Marjorie Weinhagen, Olson Real Estate Group with Keller Williams Premier, licensed in Minnesota, and it has my cell phone number and my email address and then my phone. I can pass it around.
I mean, how easy is that to put that
And
on?
like maybe an hour to create them. Literally just use my signature line.
sample once you make something like that, it's
Yeah, I just have the,
Reprint.
it in my computer now. Yeah, and it's printed.
Oh, that's awesome.
This is just the, their name tag, like, labels, you can buy them in the big packs.
If you want that template like that, you can go to avery.com, plug in what the labels are, and they'll make
perfect.
that one.
Yeah, right, you can keep that.
Yeah, and Avery.com is awesome.
Yeah, you just, you don't need a program, you just use
Yep.
Avery.com.
Use the
Avery.com
little
is
stickers,
free.
some don't come off very well, so just pull a different one off, that one doesn't come off.
So if somebody walks into your open house, do you have something that you say? All our bags.
So, welcome in, depending on the weather, I'll make a little snippy remark. So like, it was on Saturday, the snow was blowing like crazy. They find a spot to put your shoes where it's not already wet. Gets a little giggle every once in a while. We had somebody that brought in like young kid, maybe 1, 2, like, oh, looks like you brought the next generation home buyer with you too. You know, it's like something little, you see them walking up the driveway, and if you can catch them and like see them come up, something like that, just to kind of break the ice.
How about Denise, you? Yeah,
Yeah, how many houses are you on today?
like that.
So if they've been shown houses or if they've just been open house hopping, because then that'll tell me whether or not they're actively working with an agent, because if they're actually going to showings, they have to have an agent to get in. If they're just open house hopping, that tells me that they haven't settled on somebody potential.
That's right. So who else? Scott, what do you do? You know, you've done a ton of open houses.
Oh, yeah.
No?
We talked this morning.
Yeah. You did it.
I did one.
You're gonna love them.
What do you do?
Great.
I think little feature cards too, if I'm the one selling it, like. Check out the hardwood floor. Double oven here.
My dad always used to say, hey, you can get somebody laughing, you can tell them anything, anything. And it's just one of those things, so when anybody comes in, I'll hand them future sheet and a business card. I try to hand the guy here and get this to you, all over, try to blow it up and blow it on that bridge, and everybody gets all mad, and stuff like that. You know, it's usually just kind of relaxing to do. Edit, and then I can go into, would you do me a favor and sign in real quick there? You get their information. The,
How do you deal with people that, you don't understand the different languages?
I know 7 languages.
Oh, you do? Just don't learn that.
Yeah, that, didn't you go to that class at Spar to learn all their languages?
Yeah, I'm still really new to this.
Yeah, I mean, you could do something like, I haven't really run into it, but.
I think it's fun, because like, I don't speak Spanish, but I have Google Translate on my phone, and if I know there's Spanish or Portuguese, I'll put it in there and I'll talk, and then if they need something.
Yeah, if they're asking you specific questions or something like that, that Google Translator does work. It's actually very effective, but.
Do you ever, like, if they're predominantly speak a different language, if there's somebody like, you know, like, let's say, like, they're small, would you like refer them over?
Oh,
to
yeah.
them Instead of just trying to, yeah.
Yeah, why, why not? Why, if I have something like that, for the phone on different occasions, they work with at least on different occasions, because I don't know Spanish, I don't know Spanish. But the, yeah, why lose the client? Give it to them and, hey, give me 25% if it works out. Why
If
not?
they're also from a different state, you can get a referral from, if they need to sell before they move in, so you just like, even if they're
Yeah.
from like Texas, you can be like, I can find you your Texas house. And you can-
And the beauty of that is that if they are shopping and they're from out of state, is they don't want to just come and go. They want to make their trip worth something, so they will hang around and talk to you a little bit. The reloads are awesome.
That was literally me. I was really kidding twice.
You got a drinking problem now, or?
Not yet.
One more time. So the last thing we'll talk about is, again, let's just talk about the safety one last time, and we'll get out of here so then people can, but before we do that, I'm supposed to say, any ahas from the best practices of open houses? Anybody have any ahas there? Pick anything up? It's a big waste of time.
A lot of good tips.
Yeah, I thought there was a lot too. I love the Spotify, like, the house playlist, bringing a candle, Lysol.
Yeah, it's those the things to make the house here's music is
Love that.
super important. Anybody else pick up anything that
I think it's back to like door knocking, or even just do it like the day before, because then you would have as much time as you want
Yeah.
to door knock the neighborhood.
Yeah,
And then probably just like do something.
We're getting invited 20 minutes before, too.
I feel then you, if you get stuff really shiny rush,
Yeah.
you don't have time to do something.
right?
It is negative.
Unless you do the signs first.
You do all the signs and then you
Yeah.
walk around.
I just have one more thing to add. I learned from Anne Marie. When she door knocks, one of the things she said, is it gives you an opportunity to pick your neighbor, gives you an opportunity to pick your neighbor.
I love that.
Good news, ask for the neighbors.
Yeah.
Help me get rid of them.
But I thought it was great just because I shared with you, I did. When I started 2.5 years ago, I did one open house.
Yeah.
Made a myriad of mistakes, and I think one of the ones for me, I'm a St. Croix Valley kid, right? So if I would have had Woodbury or Stillwater, Lake Elmo, probably would have been better, but I did one in Highland Park. that I
You didn't know anything.
didn't know anything about, and I was embarrassed because there's people there asking questions about, like you said, the school district. And what's that restaurant that's right,
Yeah, I have no idea.
like, big
Yeah.
wide eyed, I don't know, right? So I walked away from that and said, well, I'm just gonna call my sphere. I'm never gonna do that. So,
Yeah, well, it's, just getting into the neighborhood or just being familiar with where you are. So, stick to what you know and make it easier. You'll continue to learn and grow and your sphere gets bigger and when you're doing, showing properties in different neighborhoods, you'll learn.
Oh, I apologize if I missed this, because I've done it a couple of times. But what is your procedure? What is your style? I know you're not supposed to follow them like a cat. When they wander around the house. You just kind of stay in zones. How do you maneuver with one family or one group anywhere or two or three? How do you do that?
Some of that is taken care of by the protocol. You're gonna open houses, people know that you're gonna open houses. They're gonna talk to them about the sugar, the medications, the things that they need to put away. You don't wanna have people where I did have Ritalin stolen from the house in Lakewood. And you had the conversation, put everything away. It wasn't on us, on them, but no, I don't follow people around. I'll say, you go upstairs, because somebody's got a man at the door as well, unless you're in a big house. And you have buyers, sellers that are worried, you might need people. The other pieces, if you're in a condominium complex, you need somebody at the door and somebody in the unit. We're doing multiple properties in that kind of, that's a mess. But I try to avoid that. But no, I don't. Then how does anybody else? What do? You follow them around here? Jackie?
Oh, people want that. No, I don't. You keep your eye on them, but you have to be discerning. So as soon as they come in, I'm so glad to hear. Happy to answer questions, and I discern them with humor, something like, I'm not a stalker. I don't, and that like disarms them, and then you can ask questions appropriately at the right time, but I don't follow them around. That's not my style. Everybody has to get their own style down. I have my style. It's not stalking. You just appear to be needing some praise.
Have you done any open houses yet?
I just started a few houses.
Okay. Did you learn anything today?
Yeah, no.
Okay. I would say also, I'm not really stuff. If somebody's like upstairs or really like that, I certainly gonna check.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I always leave an exit between whoever's in
yeah,
the front or the back door.
that's part of the next step there is making sure that you have a safety plan in the back of your head. A lot of times the people are standing there talking, they're talking about the house and looking out.
I was gonna say, like, as far as like for safety, before I do it open, I go through, and if I can find it, other people in the house can find it. So like, I open up drawers, like, see if there's medication. A lot of times they just leave like their valuables everywhere. So like, we'll just have like iPads or like everything just out and about. Then I'll take all that stuff and I'll hide it, and I'll just let the seller know, like, oh, I took all your iPads and I put them in this drawer.
Just as a safety.
Left it out there. All your Rolexes are in this drawer, like,
Yeah.
you just leave rings out, like, it's so ridiculous.
Except for the one I took.
Yeah. So then I'll just go through and I'll look at everything, because then if I put all like the valuable away and I like hit everything, then I feel more comfortable with people just like walking about. But like, if there's something upstairs that I'm just like, oh, don't miss the bathroom, and then I'll like say what's in the bathroom, like what kind of tile it is, or like,
Yep.
that kind of stuff, because then I'm offering a thing of value, so I don't feel like I'm stalking them, just like, oh, make sure you don't miss this part of it, and then.
Yeah.
It's more like I'm giving a tour of the house, I'm not like staring at them.
Yeah, just staring at them. And that's all part of just knowing the property, just getting, and if you get there just a little bit early. There's always a tough time between when do I have my open house sign in front of the house versus, because you're running around, you're doing it, they're like, okay, now people, we pretend like, oh, there's just probably a whole trail of little ducklings following me right now to this open house, and it's just, generally not the case. You do wind up with the early birds and things like that, but and they're odd usually.
Yeah, I end up kind of a combination, because I don't like being that stalker either. What I'll do is I'll try to get there early, look around the house, especially if it's like an older house. A lot of those homes have a lot of different characteristics and unique qualities. So I'll pick something. Usually I'll station myself at the main level, pick something that I found interesting or unique on the upper level, and then something unique and interesting on the lower level. Then when they come in, I generally try to, whichever direction they end up picking to go first.
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey, let me know if you find, there's something up there that I found really, really unique and really cool. I wanna see if you think of the same thing. When you come down, I'll ask you about it and see what you found. And it gets them thinking, kind of looking outside the box at different things. And then it's a easy touch point when they come back down. It's not awkward or anything because they were expecting me to follow. So I've done that before. When we go through this, it worked out really well.
Sure, so this weekend, I was. Substance, and so new construction, so it was one level, and I just think it's interesting how you can go from the laundry room through the closet, and through the bathroom, into the master quarters. I think that's it. So I would ask people when they came in, if I knew that they were interested in the outside, and tell me, what do you think of this feature? It's new, you know, I have a feeling of it. Let's go with it.
Conversation started.
Yeah. It was actually. But it. Good conversation.
Exactly, to humanize it a bit. So we'll wrap things up and let's keep in, okay, the safety, of course. Be safe, be smart. Talk to people about before you go, let people know where you're gonna be. Talk to the neighbors, it's one of the best door knocking approaches right there. Make sure the house is decluttered, make sure the house, talk to the people first, because you don't want to be explaining. You know, the clutter house, or you don't want to, the cat's pee house or what have you, it's because sometimes you just have to say this isn't the right house. If you or the agent that you're representing at that did their homework, the house should be ready. The light should be on, you should have the Wi-Fi password, you should have the music playing or TV downstairs or whatever, have that on. And it's a phone call and it saves you a hell of a lot of time. Because when you do walk into an open house and you have to go and do that, sometimes they're vacant, you can do your stuff. You know, get everything ready for it and just be prepared. I think that if there's anything here that you found useful, you know, just let me know. You know, we can bring those for sitting.
Can I add one more thing, open house, if it's not your listing, you know, with my listing, I'm ensuring that the driveways are followed. You always have to ensure your driveways are followed, especially saying. They can't say to me, I'll tell you the houses that were not my listings this year, that I got there early, but they weren't plowed, and I really kind of no control of the driveway or the side, but wintertime, especially vacant properties, make sure you're talking to the real estate agent about that driveway.
Yep. Absolutely, 100%, because that just sucks. And then I carry in my truck, I carry a rolled up rug. So that
Yeah.
when I get there, I can just throw it out there in case it's not there, you know.
That's cool, or something to say.
Yeah, something to sit on, if it's vacant, absolutely. There.
Well, just say if you're doing an open house for somebody else, I was taught to write a report.
Yeah.
But you would come in, what kind of comments were made, and then first, and during the things that you done.
And it's a courtesy thing, and I think that the other, if you flip that over for when you could use that for your benefit, if somebody you did meet at that property. Recognize it, so you still have, if you're gonna go back to the property, you're talking points again. And again, just making yourself the expert of the neighborhood, the house, the area is pretty important, especially school. But yeah, I love the making sure it's shoveled out because that's a big pain. That can be a really big pain.
Yeah, always keep the toilet paper. And I can tell them, and I can tell them.
That's it. I think that's about the class. There's probably more here that do it. All right, go sell some houses. It's time. at an open house. Thank you guys very much.
Yeah, no. Stop your video.
No, yeah, I do that.
Not starting, 'cause I'm doing.
Thank you guys.
That's okay.
We'll stop share.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking too. You're on spring break right now. Yep. They're home, I didn't crazy.
Let's see, I have, so my mother-in-law